Good morning. So, I have struggled with every kind of emotional challenges that's available. And I understand why, especially from last night, from the things I've been working on just now. So, this is kind of my latest cutting edge. I'm getting close, if not at the core of the source of this gigantic emotional hole that I just can't seem to climb out of. And it makes so much sense, right? So, as always, these videos are completely for myself. I use them as emotional strength training because every single thing I want is on the far side of fear, on the far side of feeling like I'm not good enough, on the far side of feeling like I need to perform, at least perform under pressure and being unable to do so. So here I am, putting the pressure on and then just seeing what comes out. So there's so many things, and I'm just going to dive in. One of the ways I do it is I have a blank piece of paper. I call it white papering, right? And I just see what comes out. Nothing here is scripted. I want to, I'm leaning into a life of effortless, which means I don't try, and effortless emergence, effortless improv. So I trust myself. I'm trusting my subconscious to just give me whatever I need at the moment. So I'm going to jump straight into it. Is this giant emotional hole that I've been in for as long as I can remember? I get peaks of being out of it from time to time. When I was teaching the cube, when I had um, successes in dance, when had a really good day, and I could really feel the rhythm of the moment, and I feel so good. It's like, okay, I've made it. I'm out. I'm out. I'm out. And inevitably, the next day, I would find myself right back in there because any highs eventually comes back down to a low. So every single time this cycles, it makes me wonder, right? It's like, was any of this real? And when I'm up, when I feel really good, it was like, oh, was any of my darkness real? So because of this cycle, it has kind of made me feel like my entire life wasn't real. It's like, wait, the shadow isn't real. The good, that wasn't real because every time I get it, I will invariably fall back down. So I don't trust the positive. I don't trust the negative because I know this isn't real either. So it's just like, what is real? Well, in this one conversation is telling me there's this dot right here in between up and down. That is the only thing that's real. The me that's doesn't change, doesn't go up, doesn't go down, right? So that's the single point. And from that one point, I can build around it. So my exploration last night was about like thinking about what a basic child needs. So I've had this other metaphor of a scrappy dog, wild dog. And I was wondering what a wild dog would need, in the morning. it's hungry, so it's desire. So these are the four main emotions that I've been working with: desire, fear, anger, hurt. So this dog wakes up in the morning and it's hungry. So I think, okay, desire. And it sees this juicy little bunny. It's like, ooh, it's going to be real tasty. So desire. It's going to go for the bunny. As it's going for the bunny, it sees something in the distance. It's not quite sure what it is, but it's got a big mane, you know. And as a scrappy little dog, we can't handle a lion, you know. So then fear activates. And what does fear tell us to do? Freeze. Has the lion seen us yet? Oh, nope. That's okay. I want to scoot this over just a little bit. There we go. Okay. Has the lion seen us yet? No. So this now we're in fear. Hmm. Let's try this way. Okay. The lion's up here. You see the bunny. So we're going for the bunny. So this is what I already have. And this is the model I've been creating about the basic emotions. I actually found these four on a website called Shadowwork, of all things. And the moment it clicked in, that's the four emotions I use: desire, fear, anger, hurt. So, first is desire, going for the bunny. And then you see the lion, freeze, right? Now it's freeze, back, and has the lion seen us yet? No. Slowly back away. Would it do me any good to get the bunny and have the lion eat me for lunch instead? No, right? So fear overrides desire. Then, now that we're back here, we don't want to have a lion in our territory. It's dangerous, you know? So, it's not the best line. Anyways, so we get a bunch of pack members together. And we go and take on the lion. We want to drive it away, like, yep, those are my. Wow, that one's even. Okay, okay, I'm gonna let go of this one. That one's, I don't know what that was. Okay, so we get a bunch of pack members and we take on the lion. You know what emotions do we need now, right? Anger. And think about it. In a fight to the death, is there any room to freeze? You know, no. If I freeze, then I get eaten for lunch, right? Again, if we think about, um, so anger overrides fear, is what I'm saying. Okay, same thing. Reason why we do a war cry. Like I do a war cry before I jump into the water in a cold plunge. It's like, I don't want to. I know. It's like, let's do it. And then we run into the water, and then we fall in, and by the time the fear catches up, it's already done. Okay, so fear, anger. I mean, anger. So fear overrides desire. Anger overrides fear. And now we take on the lion. Okay. Anything we put anger on, we're targeting for destruction. So I teach people to teach to treat anger like a firearm. It's very dangerous, right? So all the same rules as a firearm. Always assume it's loaded. Never point at anything you don't wish to destroy. You know, finger off the trigger. Know what's behind your target. All those rules, okay, to be safe. But here, as a wild pack of animals, we take on the lion to try to drive it away. We thought we could take on the lion. Unfortunately, we were badly, badly mistaken. With a swipe and a bite and a claw, the lion takes out a few of us, and we barely got away with just a giant gash on our leg. Now, what emotions do we feel? Hurt. The kicker is that if we were a wild animal and we got a bad injury like this, the likelihood is we're already dead. We just haven't died yet. Okay? So, the however, the body has one chance and one chance alone to try to save itself. And it's to try to find a hole somewhere and hide out and shut off all energy output. And hopefully we heal in time before we starve to death. So that is the mechanism of why when we feel depressed, do we feel like the energy to do anything, right? To shower, to get out of bed, to go to work. It's like, no, it doesn't make any sense. It's like, why is my body sabotaging me like this? Well, it's because those programming was built at a time when we were biological, when this was an actual physical threat or a physical harm. But here in a depression, it's not physical. And because humans can look forward and see what would happen, predict what could happen. And when we feel depressed, we look forward, we see like, wow, our life is going to be even worse if tomorrow I still feel this way and I don't have energy to go to work, shower, maintain life, then my life is even worse. Then I feel even worse. And then I have even less energy. And then I look forward again with this even less energy, and now my life is even worse. And then my life spirals downwards really quickly. It doesn't make any sense unless you think about it in terms of a biological mechanism. It was meant to save us from a physical injury. It's no longer the case, and now this is a drive that we need to override. Okay, so in a fight, right, if we're completely overpowered and we just can't win, hurt will often collapse, or anger would collapse into hurt, and hurt will override the anger. It will just give up. There's no hope. Maybe you play dead, or it's just, or when it's a social situation, like two social animals, one will submit, so the hurt will override the anger. And remember, this whole stack, the fear overrides the desire, anger overrides the fear, hurt overrides the anger. So when I'm at hurt, everything gets collapsed. This is the state of a full emotional collapse. So I understand myself now. Desire, I've always felt like my wants and needs were not important. And I think about it from an adult's point of view, looking at a kid, it's like, you know, a kid's desire, like what are they? They're dumb. So I feel like my childhood desires were not met, acknowledged, or respected. Fear, I have so much anxiety everywhere. And because fear interrupts my language abilities, everything that we have to do that's surrounding language, which is everything, gets linked into fear. And then the more I feel fear, the more it loops in. The more I want something, the more it gets fear. So fear blocks everything. My anger was also shut down. However, I also achieved a aha moment when I was little, realizing the feedback nature of anger. And so I stopped anger on my side. So at least I have control over my anger, which actually became the foundation of me being emotionally safe because I have perfect control, near perfect control over my anger because I understand how it escalates. And if I sense that, I stop it. So that is one of the huge gifts. Okay, so this, I already have these four primary emotions. Now let's backtrack to slowing down. In this one moment, I have my breath because I feel a little rushed. Speed, posture, effortless emergence, and effortless action. So I'm slowing down, just playing around right now. Posture, and letting go of all emotional effort. Okay. Childhood trauma. As a baby, we have three needs: food, hunger, food, connection, and then agency. Food, connection, and then agency and play. The one thing that I've always had is food and housing. This is not insignificant. This has always been highly significant. So there's a part of me that feels safe and secure. The other parts, however, if I look at fear and my social anxiety, this has been massively disrupted. So this is massively disrupted. Agency and play, I have felt like my wants and needs were not important. So we never got what we wanted, what I wanted. At least that's how it felt. Like anytime mom's job is only to say no. It's like no, 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 no. Okay. I'm not gonna make it objective. This is just how this is childhood trauma, work. So this is one of three. And underneath it all, though, when these were not met, when agency was not met, I dropped down into hurt. So I use hurt. I'll do that. Connection, loneliness. It's never fully hungry, so at least one out of three. The combination of these two is kind of why I am in a deep emotional hole, but I'm not utterly falling through. So hurt, so it kind of felt like Hmm. So this is where I used the number -1 as a part of this sequence, right? -1, 0 is just how things are. 1 is like the opposite of -1, so it's like all the positive emotions, the well-being. 2 could be either relationships, two person, or A to B if it's just agency. Okay. 3 I will go into later. Okay, 3 is agency then. So yeah, for this, let's take that out. So 0, because of the traumas that I've had in attachment and in feeling like my wants and needs were not important, things were done for me, so I didn't develop self efficacy. I just followed along my entire life. I didn't really think, I didn't really worry about what I had to do. People just told me where to be, what to do, and that's just what I did. You know? Up until all the way through college, and then afterwards, like, what now? I've been on this automatic path for so long, you know? Okay. And then I was just dumped at the end of it. So there's a lot of -1. Right now, I'm feeling the desire to be able to explain this more clearly, and yet the pressure is getting to me, and I'm judging myself. Again, this is all part of the -1. That's why I like this sequence so much. None of this is real. The negative feelings, the need to perform. I don't have to. I want to, but I don't have to. Um, like I'm not good enough. Oh, here's the other thing. I've been starting to do courses on how to build an online business, to build an online course and to market it. So these are the 4 challenges when going from A to B. B being successful, financial bodhisattva, and aligned to my life purpose. Distraction. I'm getting less and less of that these days. I've haven't really watched a full movie in a long time, which is not always good because I do like just relaxing into it. Anyways, um, fear. Fear makes me not do it at all, not even start. It's like, I would rather do anything else. Okay. Once I start, though, like, okay, I do it, I'm doing it, I'm doing it. Overwhelm. And this is why I am hitting this lowest feeling of trauma, of agency. It's like, why does this feel so bad? You know, I'm taking the course. I just need to turn off my brain, just go through the process. Like other people are doing it. I can do this too, but this feeling of it being terrible was so bad that it just makes me feel really bad when I see all the things and I don't know instantly how to do it. Because, oh, I was also praised for my intelligence. I'm smart. Which, if you have explored fixed mindset versus growth mindset, praising a kid for being smart is actually detrimental. I was smart. I am smart. But what it meant was I didn't have to try. A lot of things like math came really easily to me for a long time until it wasn't. The moment it stopped being easy, this kicked in. It's like, oh, maybe I'm not smart. So the moment that kicked in, it starts crushing me. The moment I needed to use effort, because I was smart. Smart people don't need to use effort. So this is why this is now being triggered at this time when I'm taking this course and everything's coming at me. It's like, oh, it's not that easy. I can't just tell AI just do everything and design everything. I still need to put it all together. It's like, ooh, okay. I was hoping it would just be done for me, and it's not. Okay, at least it's not that good yet. And as I see all the courses, it seems overwhelming. It triggers all my childhood um, insecurities about agency. I can't do this. I can't make money. I'm no good. Connection. This is the fear. Oh, this is the fear collapse. Here's the other connection I made, right? With our little wild dog here, it was self-sufficient, so it was going for the bunny, and then it only ran when a threat bigger than itself came along, right? As a baby, I don't chase the bunny, I get food. However, the I can't protect myself from any predator whatsoever as a baby. So I rely on my connection to be my protection. If my connection is low, I will feel fear the same way I would feel fear facing a lion head on. So that's why this fear connection, social fear, is so huge. And then agency is about frustration. It's about I want to do something and I couldn't. And as a baby, like it's nothing more frustrating than trying to do something over and over and just not being able to get it. So anger is actually the last resort to try to push through some things. Like, oh, I can't do it. Maybe I can't. Maybe let's try it one more time. Like, can I get enough energy? If I still can't get it with anger, I give up, collapse. I collapse into hurt. It's like I can't do it. I wasn't strong enough. I wasn't strong enough. So anger is actually the last line. So this is about anger, power. Fear is about connection, anger, frustration, and if that collapses, give up, giving up on life. Okay. Then desire, well, hunger. Because I realize desire is actually underneath all of this, desire. So this could be hunger. My brain kept me up until 3 a.m. and I barely slept, so here I am. It is what it is. Okay, so fear, hunger, fear, anger, and hurt is the consequence of these breaking. So it's not a desire in itself, it's a consequence of what happens when either we get our desires unmet or we get something we don't want and an emotional attack. So yeah, these three aligns to the the four primary emotions, and hurts being the loss of any of these things. So desire, so here's what they all have in common. This is part of why Buddhism talks about what they talk about is desire is underneath all of it. And when a desire isn't met or a need isn't met for long enough, it turns into hurt, which then I store it in -1 in the and one of the stories is, oh, I am not capable. I am something is wrong with me. So we go from 0, we are whole and complete, into -1. I'm not whole and complete. Something is wrong, or the world is wrong. Something is wrong. Acceptance brings us back to 0. And then okay. So you have -1 is hurt. 0 is a state of wholeness, so I'm not in 0. At least I don't feel 0. But because I've had food and housing my entire life, I'm not fully negative. I'm at -2. Oh, okay. So this is negative. If this is -1, -1, this will make me at -2. Okay. I'm not at -3, otherwise my whole world would be utter challenge, even more so. Okay. So I guess I'm playing the game at -2 difficulty. And it has, but this level of challenge has utterly screwed me up so much that I could not count on my emotions to bring me through. So I had to create a scaffolding of logic. It's like, why am I struggling? This is really silly. I do the same thing every single day, and yet I keep struggling and I don't know why. I now understand why. Okay, so I built the scaffolding. This entire EMU was built to counteract this -2 effect in my life. So now, to bring me back to 0, but 0 still doesn't mean I know how to do anything, so I had to map everything else out. Before I can get excited about life, 1 is the excitement, right? 2 would be, so 1, 2, 3. Let's map it. 1 would be like basic food, connection. Let's just do a little hearts, connection. 3 is agency. Again, it maps so well. I didn't feel like I could do stuff because I've noticed that my mom has this tendency to just give up on anything that's even remotely hard. She doesn't even try. She's like, I can't do it. It's like, and remember, agency, the emotion of agency is anger. When I fail, anger kicks in to push through. But my agency was also crushed because my mom was also highly reactive and would rage anytime she feels like I was disrespecting her with my own anger. So, so my anger was crushed. So my and a lot of things was done for me. That's just how they thought it should be. A kid's job's only to study. They don't need to do anything else. So I did. I was smart. Got good grades. I didn't have to do anything else. And so my self-efficacy was just on schoolwork and not everyday life. So now that when I'm now an adult, how do I don't get the feeling that I can do the little things. I've rebuilt that since then. I've built fences. I've built a lot of things out, like anything out of wood. I can do that now but I had to rebuild my sense of self agency. Come relationships, it's still a bit of a mess. I'm really great in my close relationship with my partner, but shallow relationships, the anxiety just kicks in so badly when I'm not assured that it has disrupted almost my ability to connect with people. When I try to meet somebody new, my mind just blanks out and tries to run away. It's like, how am I supposed to build a relationship when my brain does that? Disorganized, right? Because of the anger, because of the unfulfilled desires, the no. I developed a disorganized attachment. I would almost say it's actually avoidant of the rage and anger. But because of the loneliness, I still wanted it, but I'm more avoidant than I am anxious. Yep. Okay, so again, well, let's go turn this back to -1. Okay, times 2. This way it keeps the numbers nice and condensed. We could also do -1 being unmet food, -2 being unmet relationship, -3 being unmet agency, but that starts expanding things and I want to keep things condensed. Okay, so this is why now that I'm actually taking the course to work on turning all of this into an online business, teaching people, it's making me feel like I can't do it. It's my agency, my learned helplessness. I need to look at it in the face. It's like, yep, this is learned helplessness from having been told no my entire life, um, having my wants and needs not really considered, just following along my entire life, having very low connections, and the consequence of probably the let them cry it out policy as a child. I think I was held as a baby. I think food, this was okay at the very beginning. That's why I'm not in utter full collapse mode. However, later on is when the abandonment would have happened, and the frustration, like right now, my nose just keeps itching, and I'm going to stay with it. I'm going to acknowledge it. It is very irritating, and that is what it is. Okay. So I'm pulling everything together. The 4 primary emotions, the numbers. The other version is know know what to do and do it. That still works for agency, but know what to do in relationships, so that's a little different. Okay. Going back to the childhood needs, baby, food, connection, and agency. As an older child, that would turn into play. What was the other one? We were working on this one. To contribute. When you're older, you can contribute. But I was never allowed to contribute because I didn't do anything. I didn't do any chores. It was all done for me. Okay. And then food becomes meaning as a making meaning. So play is just for fun, contribute, and then beyond physical needs would be meaning, mental, emotional health. As an adult, let's see, health, wealth, relationships, and the ultimate game would be for highest health. See, this is when things get a little flipped around, right? We can use agency for wealth and or anyways, the okay, effortless, playing effortless improv. So I'm playing the game. I turn it back into a game and playing the game of life effortlessly. Relationship is returning to the point where we're all family. And for meaning, for food, well, food actually is money at this point. So that's why these two things are a little flipped. Um, Financial, bodhisattva, and being aligned to my life purpose. So it doesn't directly connect because this would be flipped if it's according to the 3x3. Health, wealth, relationships, 1, 2, 3. This one would be the effortless, fully embodied spirituality, financial bodhisattva, life purpose, all family. So effortless would be health. Okay, maybe this is how we play the game. A financial bodhisattva and life purpose is how we play the game of life. And mental emotional health would be effortless improv, effortless emergence. I think that makes sense actually, because this is the game and this is how to play it in a mental health sustaining way. Okay, so wealth is agency. Health is food and basic organism maintenance. And if we become like nature, it becomes effortless and we just do the things we need to do. And we become like a deer, always in the now, we're just acting. Agency and relationships. Okay, so that connects my entire life all the way back to the original childhood traumas. Again, I don't say that to make it blame on anyone. My parents tried their best. I am exactly who I need to be to make the scaffolding that I needed to make. And now, even when I feel really terrible, like when I feel overwhelmed and it drops me into this deep emotional hole, like last night, it could have been like dark night of the soul, but then I recognized nothing here should have triggered that. This must be a memory of the original hurt of agency, of frustration, of my emotional collapse without being supported. Okay, so when we're born, we are whole and complete, but when we get enough traumas, we start wondering what's wrong with us. And I got food, so I think the world was physically safe, but emotionally not. So emotionally, I went into a negative 1 times 2. And this is why I am in an emotional hole. This is why when I want something, it activates fear. Fear blocks everything else. Then I don't even want anything at all because every time I want, it creates fear. Fear blocks everything. And that's why everything I want is on the far side of fear. Okay, one of the things I need to learn how to do is write a script and present it. That's one of the things I'm going to let go of is this need to always be improvising and not have a script. That script will be something I write, or if AI writes it, then I would be the one to approve it and the one I would deliver it. Or I may have AI make videos and whatever. I'm not limiting myself. I'm not one of those who would limit myself and say I'm never going to use AI because it's on. No, no, no. It's all a tool. Okay, I'm a big proponent of AI, and I'm looking to see how I can use it as authentically as possible and for my own highest good, and to let go of all emotional effort as I charge straight into life. Okay, let me see. So this is the biggest development, right? I'm always, day after day, I am getting closer and closer, and I've hit baby level. I think I'm getting close to the bottom of my emotional well, right? So I am in a big emotional well. It's like, where is this coming from? Well, everybody says childhood trauma, you know? Well, what is childhood trauma? Neglect, abuse, um, if even simply not being listened to, being treated as a kid where our needs were not as important. So, anyways, I'm reaching to the core of my childhood traumas of food, connection, and agency, but I had food, so this is fine. This is locked in. Connection and agency, this all makes perfect sense in my life. My connections are really challenging. I can't connect. I have so much fear because this is the feeling that governs safety in connection. And my anger was blocked, so my agency was also blocked, and things were done for me, so I had low self efficacy. This makes my life right here. Everything makes sense. What else? Learned helplessness. Yep, my desires were shamed. It's like, oh, you shouldn't want this much. No, we can't afford it, etc., etc. I look forward to when I get to boredom. When I've done this so much that I can make enough money to live, I look forward to being bored. Oh my goodness. So I'm charging up the hill. These represent the four different emotions. All right. Desire leads to distraction, fear, anger, and hurt. But I'm not there yet. And then avoid burnout or injury. So I'm still going for here, deep practice, where I am getting paid. I'm a financial bodhisattva, and I'm building my own business, which means I need to do marketing and sales. It's like, time to get over my own shadow of thinking sales is wrong. If I do sales incorrectly, that would be wrong. However, sales itself is a sequence like everything else. Divine trade of value. Okay, so this is why I am here, because I'm actually taking the courses, pushing forward and realizing there's way more stuff I need to do. I thought it would be so easy. They sell it as like, oh, 30 minutes. It's like, it's not 30 minutes. See, that's another thing. It's like, I feel led on, and then all the time, how will I avoid that with my products and my information? That's the real question. How do I stay in integrity while there's so much lack of integrity information out in the world? That's kind of where I'm at. Um, yeah, so this is all the stuff I was working on beforehand. Um, okay. That's what I got. Ooh, okay, the numbers. So 3 is like going from 2 to between 2 A and B. 2 is connections. 1 is basic survival and mental health. 1 is health. 2 is connection. 3 is agency, which actually fits the map perfectly. Remember, if I'm trying to pull all the information from AI and I asked what are all the categories so I can make a map of all knowledge. This is the map, right? -1, 0, 1, 2, 3. -1 is shadow, 0 is self, 1 is world, 2 is relationships, and 3 is meta frameworks. It also called it navigation. Again, 3 is how to get somewhere, 2 is relationships, 1 is how the world works, and 0 is self, how I feel about myself. -1 is all my shadows. See, this sequence is a magical sequence that covers all negative things, things as they are, how we want them to be, how we can plan for it, and how we can take actions within that plan. Okay? So we feel terrible about the world, dystopian futures. Hey, the world is what it is. All the utopian futures, our hopes, our maximum hope for the future. Okay, we can have this hope. Let's put 2 points together, A, B. This is the goal. And here's the plan. Put a plan together. 3, let's go for it. 3 is the point between 1 and 2. 3, we're going for it, the one step. -1, 0, 1, 2, 3. 5 numbers locks in the entire how work, the strategy of how life works. Again, don't really have to memorize that because it's literally in the number itself. Okay, so that is my latest development of tracing my needs all the way back to the absolute basic baby childhood needs and where my emotional whole came from and how it all ties in with health wealth relationships. So all the models are consistent. All right, that's my development for today for Enlightened Mastery University. Thanks for staying tuned, and I will see you next time. Love you.